Hi, my name is Renata, and today I want to share something very personal with you. Something that completely changed the way I see myself, my body, my health, and my life. So if you're a woman over 35, watch this video until the end because I'm pretty sure this video is meant for you. Hello friends, welcome back to my channel, or just welcome if you're new here. So today I'm gonna share with you my journey through early menopause. Yes, right now I'm 42 years old and I'm already a post-menopausal woman. So I'm gonna start explaining to you since the beginning, since it always started, since the perimenopausal symptoms until today. I'm gonna be completely honest with you in this video. So to be honest, when I first started to feel really hard the symptoms, I was 36, 37 years old. That's when I started to feel the most. But let me tell you something. I think just about 2 days ago, I was talking to my husband and I told him that I was just remembering that when I was about 32, 33, I started to feel off. I started to feel not like myself anymore. But I didn't realize at the time that it was that big a deal. For me, it was something with my hormones, but never came to my mind that it was something related to menopause. Never. This word didn't even was part of my life, you know. I always been a very active woman. I've been through this fitness lifestyle since I was 17 years old. So I was very active, always working out a lot. But there was a time between 32, 33 years old, I started to feel off. I started to notice that my PMS was starting to get worse. I started to experiencing some anxiety, even panic attacks. That's when I had my first panic attack. But going forward, let's go to the moment I actually felt this hitting me really hard. So when I was 36, 37, I started to experience my body changing a lot. As I said, I always been very active, always was that kind of a girl, of a woman that used to work out 2-3 times a day and never felt like resting because I was always had a lot of energy. I used to wake up in the morning like 4 a.m., 5 a.m., super energized, go for a running or for a walk or just for a workout. And sometimes, as I said, I used to work out again in the afternoon, and at the end of the day, I used to go for a walking or something like that. And always feeling amazing, super energized, feeling like I could conquer the road no matter what time it was, or even the morning, afternoon, night, whatever. Then suddenly, out of a sudden, I started to feel off, totally off. I started to feel a lot of fatigue. I started to feel not motivated anymore to go to the gym, a low libido. I started to feel my body changing. I started to feel, I always used to put more fat on my belly than the rest of my body. But at this time, I noticed that I was putting even more fat than ever before on my belly, on my midsection. And that started to annoy me. Because as I said, I always been very active. I always had healthy eating habits. I always did more than I could. Always doing more and more. And so I started to feel frustrated. I thought something's wrong with me. But it's still not even thinking about menopause, perimenopause, whatever. Then I started to experiencing some depression, and the anxiety that I had on my 32, 33 years old came back even worse than ever before. I started to have a really bad sleep, and I used to sleep like a baby before. I never had a sleep issue in my life before that. But at the time, I thought I was having adrenal fatigue. I started to read about it. Nothing showing up for me, something about menopause or perimenopause, because maybe because of my age, because I used to always look for Google for something. Oh, I'm 36 years old, I'm experiencing these symptoms. Oh, it's probably adrenal fatigue. So that's what I thought it was at the time. So I started to take a lot of supplements for this. I started to get some rest, but this wasn't still the worst of the symptoms that I had. My period is starting to get shorter than it used to be. My menstruation used to last between 4 and 5 days. Then it started to last only 3 days, sometimes 2 days and a half. But I thought it was normal because since I was being very active, I thought it's because I was maybe overtraining, because I know I used to overtrain a lot through the years. But even if I knew I was doing it wrong, I kept doing it. You know, I didn't care. I just wanted to be the healthiest and active woman I could be, you know, always challenging myself to do more and be more. I know you can relate to that for sure, because as the society puts a lot of pressure on us, you know, always asking us for more, to be more productive, to be skinny, or to be the fittest woman ever. So that's who I was. I'm still not perfect, but I'm working on it. I'm pretty sure that I'm better today than I was 3-5 years ago. So the most weird symptoms that it caught me by surprise was the frozen shoulders. I remember like it was yesterday. I used to feel my shoulders, a pain in my shoulder. It was on my left shoulder, and it was annoying me, you know, because I couldn't do many things as I used to do. I started to complain all the time to my husband. I don't know where this pain is coming from. And I even had to slow a little bit on my upper body workouts, especially a shoulders workout. I even stopped working on my shoulders for some time. And if you ask me, how did you solve this pain? I didn't do anything about it. I just stopped working out for a bit. And the pain just disappeared for, let's say, 2-3 years. And nowadays, I still feel that pain. It's weird. I'm post-menopause and sometimes I still feel that. Okay, so now I'm gonna tell you the worst symptom that I experienced at that time. When I was still 37, I remember that there was one morning that I woke up, and when I opened my eyes, I looked at the ceiling and the room was spinning around my head. Everything was spinning around. I felt so dizzy. I said, oh my God, what is happening to me? I started to feel nauseous. It was like something was pounding inside my head. I was, oh my God, I've never felt this before in my life. And then I realized that it was vertigo. I was experiencing vertigo, and I've never had this in my life, and I had no idea what this was happening. And here's the thing. At the time, I was trying to get pregnant. Me and my husband, we were trying to get pregnant because we only had one son. Now he's 20 years old. That's when we decided, I think we should try to have another baby at this point because we only have him. But it didn't happen. It didn't happen, and I was okay with it because it wasn't something that I was like wishing so hard, you know, I need to have another baby, I want to have another baby. No, it was something that we were just willing to try. If it happened, you will be happy for sure, but if not, we were okay. So, and imagine at that time I was perimenopause and had no idea. So at the time that I experienced this vertigo, I thought I was pregnant. Then I bought a pregnancy test, did the tests for 2-3 days, always negative. So okay, I'm not having nothing. Probably it's about the adrenal fatigue. So I never went to look for a doctor. I just started to doing things by myself, taking the supplements and everything. Then I started to feel okay again for some time. Not still like myself, but I was feeling so much better. But I think after 6 months, I started to feel everything again. My sleep, there was a time that my sleep was so bad. I was experiencing so bad, so hard insomnias. There was one night that I kneeled and I started to pray, God, please help me sleep. I need to rest. I need to sleep. I need to have my energy back. I started to cry because I was desperate and I still had no idea what was happening with me. And then after these episodes of insomnia, I think 6 months later, I experienced the second vertigo episode again. Okay, so then we went for a vacation in Brazil, and I went to a doctor there. I did my blood work. He was specialized on hormones and everything. He looked at my blood work, and I started to hear some podcasts, listen to some podcasts about perimenopause and menopause, and then I started to think about it. And I asked him, don't you think that I may be experiencing perimenopause? And he said, no, don't worry about it. It's too young for that. I know that's what you hear from all the doctors in the world, like everywhere, not only in Brazil, not only in US. I think it's happening everywhere. So imagine, he's an expert in hormones, and he couldn't see through my blood work that I was getting to perimenopause. But then I started to ask my mom. I said, hey mom, I need to know when we start your menopause. You know what was her answer? She told me, I had my menopause when I was 42 years old. I said, oh my gosh, how come we never talk about it? Guys, can you believe it? This is still a taboo in a lot of families. The women in the families, they don't talk about it with each other. This is a shame, you know, but it's not our fault. We know it's all because of the society. They made this, think that this is a bad thing, that we couldn't talk about it, you know. So if I had talked about it with my mom before, probably I would be more cautious, more aware of what was happening to me. So I was in shock. But then I realized, okay, so this is it. I'm in perimenopause. But I was even shocked, even more shocked, because I got into menopause even earlier than her. But here's the thing. When I was in Brazil, when I went to this doctor in Brazil, he also works with hormone pellets. And in Brazil, there is a thing that everybody in the fitness world does. They use a pellet, hormone pellet they called chip da beleza, which means the beauty pellet. It's like the beauty pellet, the way they call it. In this pellet, they have a lot of hormones. They have testosterone and plus other hormones, and they use the hormone called gestrinone. I know in US this is not allowed to use. It's not FDA approved, but in Brazil it is approved. So I put in this pellet. I felt great. I had the best body composition, the best energy ever. I felt not like myself. I felt even better than like myself before. But after I used that pellet, it lasts for 3-4 months, and then I never replaced the pellet again. That's when I stopped menstruating forever. Never had my menstruation again. So my last menstruation I had was when I was 40 years old, when I had the last menstruation. When I was 41, that's when I was 1 year completely without my period. That's when I said, okay, so menopause it is. And here I am. So you see, this is my journey. I'm not saying that it's gonna happen with you, but as I've been getting to know so many women through this journey, I know now that I'm not the only one. The early menopausal has been happening a lot. It's becoming more common than you think. But even if you're not still on menopause, if you're over 35, you'll probably experience these perimenopausal symptoms like your sleep, your low libido, your fatigue, maybe vertigo or not, maybe the frozen shoulders, maybe putting more fat on your midsection, whatever it is, or just not feeling like yourself anymore, you know. And this is a very lonely journey, because this affected really bad my relationship, my marriage. It messed up very, very bad with my marriage. As I mentioned on my first video here, I almost got divorced 2 or 3 times. And even some months ago, we had a very bad crisis, and we were in a very bad situation, very bad spot. And always coming from my side, because there was a time that I felt really disconnected with my husband, and I felt like he wasn't supposed to be anymore. But if it wasn't for his commitment to understand me and to be by my side, we wouldn't be together anymore. But it wasn't like this since the beginning, you know. At the beginning, he was very stubborn. He couldn't understand me, you know. He thought I was just making this up, and I'm pretty sure that you go through this too, and if you're not going through this yet, you will be for sure. But here is the thing, I'm gonna give you an advice. Talk to your husband, be patient with him, because it's hard for us to understand ourselves. Imagine them, they are a man, they have no idea what you go through. Some people say, oh, but men also go through andropause. They also lose their testosterone. I know, but I'm sorry to tell you this, but it's not the same. They don't feel as off as we feel when we lose our estrogen, our progesterone, and our testosterone. So this is it for today. This is my journey. I want to hear from you if you're going through the same, if you're wondering if you may be going through the same. So I have a message for you. Don't feel alone, because I'm here for you. And if you like this video, give me a like, share this video with a friend that you're going through the same, and let me know in the comments if you'd like to know more about my journey, if you'd like to know more about how this affected my relationship, how we did to get through this together. It's very important to me to know what you think about it. I hope you like it, and I see you in the next video. Bye!